Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in. My name is Angel. I've been in the practice of making more space for my natural soul's expression, and I invite you to come along with me. There isn't a real goal except for that with these. So thank you for accepting the raw, genuine happenings in this little corner of the interwebs. Today has been so stinking interesting so far. Now, there has been a little bit more of a survival mode kind of turned on in my life lately. And, you know, it's nothing too crazy, which means the nervous system regulation and the capacity building work that I've been doing is working because not a lesser than, but a previous version of myself would not have been able to handle the changes that are happening in my life currently. So kudos to that. Um, but I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a little hint of like, oh, what's gonna happen? Uncertainty, when you're playing in the unknown, it's just that unknown. And so it can bring up, equal parts fear and equal parts excitement, depending on how I choose to perceive it and choose to sit with it and accept it, and how I choose to move on from it is um, what dictates how it will affect me, if you will. There's something about a perceived. So, okay, hold on. Let me get quiet so I can see if I can articulate these thoughts better. I'm going to see if, my soul can take over on the explanation of what has been going on. After spending the last 5 or so years intentionally trying to understand what community means to me, I have spent the last 2 years attempting to truly be a villager, not just serve and tend to my community, which I've always been pretty good at, coming from a former people pleaser, needing to perform and mask, right? People have always felt kind of taken care of in my vicinity. And since leaving those points of attraction, those identities, now I can tend from a place of actual love and empathy, compassion and capacity and respect, right? Among other things. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely. Oh, I'm already gonna cry. Beautiful to be self-led in that way, and to remind myself that the loving nurturer side of my divine femininity does not always have to be poured into a male counterpart or lover. It can be poured into my sisterhood, my community, my brothers, right? Um, just anyone who decides to truly see me, accept me, and allow me to bloom in these most vulnerable and transformative times of my life. They deserve access. They deserve my love. They deserve my care. And so I've just been feeding myself and feeding my community in such amazing ways. Now, within that work and play and love and service, there comes a time where an independent, a hyper independent woman needs to learn how to receive in order for it to be balanced. Not even learn to receive so you can be worthy of your blessings or whatever it may be. It's just to keep a good balance. And if I have this belief that one of humankind's biggest wounds is self-abandonment. And on this journey of learning how to take care of oneself, I'm learning to receive my own love, which at the beginning and the end of each day is all that really, really matters. But I'm also learning to receive from my community. Last week, I had an incident with with a family member, and I just remember saying like, "Hey, um, you know, I just is there something I'm misunderstanding?" And he immediately calls me and he's like, he took accountability. I'm trying not to give out too many like intimate details. It was fucking magical though. He took accountability for his side of things, apologized for how it made me feel, and proceeded to show up for me in the way that he thought that he could and the way that I had expressed my needs. And I remember I was like, "Oh my God, thank you." It just took me by surprise and I ran off the phone super fast, which is so funny to me. I giggled because at the first, and this isn't the first sign of love by all means. This is the first time that I was like feeling it. In all of this being super present in my life, in all of this sitting through the feelings, feeling things viscerally in my body, and deepening the connection with myself. Now I am, in fact, deepening my connection with others. And I yeah. People are surprised that I'm still surprised by the effects, the positive effects of the work that I do. Yeah, I'm surprised because I still find it more comfortable to identify as someone who's striving for the things that I'm talking about than I am to be the person I'm talking about. And I know you feel the same because you are human. How many times have you found yourself in between identities? You're not quite who you were, but you're not quite who you're kind of wanting to be or trying to embody, right? So I'm in this really crazy in between yet again for the millionth time in my life, but at a different level and a different caliber. Older versions of myself, I don't know her. She's not even in the room. She pops in from now and again with grief, but I love her. She got me here. So, yes, I still do get shaken up when someone truly sees me, when someone takes accountability, when someone wants to show up, when someone wants to take care of me. Ah. Anyway, that's what I uncovered of myself this week, or really like was able to see it clearly, see myself clearly. I'm like, oh, you still run from love. Uh, it didn't feel too good, obviously, when you learn about yourself in these ways, but it helped me with clarity. I now see where I can choose to evolve and expand if I choose to, right? So that being said, last night I got to sit down with some community members and the transformations that I'm going through, they offered another option on the table. We have not made any decisions, but I was just I mean, it was so amazing to be sitting down. One of the community members was in deep, like, protection and love over me. And the other community was just like this steady, stoic, breaking things down logically, helping me explore and sift and sort all my thoughts and weigh my options. Like, so it was very like mom and dad energy, if that's what a mom and dad, that's just what I assume a mom and dad would operate like, very nurturing and protecting and very logical and assistant in helping you navigate the world. So I proceed to go home again, just planting the seeds. We talk logistics, we talk feelings, all the things. Went home and, of course I was like grateful. Absolutely grateful. I felt extreme relief, right? That survival mode in me could silence just enough for me to get a good night's sleep. Um, no decisions were made, but to have options on the table definitely feels a little more secure and cushiony, right? Plush. Anyhow, so I woke up this morning and instant download, my spirit was like, it's time to double down on the practices. Here, let me get quiet. Let me have her say it because it's pretty good. And chances are I will cry. So that's your warning. Yes, it's time to double down. All too often, when we're striving for something, we pick up new habits and new routines, almost ritualistically. If we're consistent enough, these things start to become first and second nature. And there comes a moment where we do start feeling good. We do start attracting the things that we've been working towards. And we can almost start to get a little too comfortable in those things and forget to remember to do the practices that got us there. And there's a funny pattern that we can fall into of we feel really good, so we drop the patterns, then we start to feel a little bad. So we pick up the patterns. Then we're feeling really good and we drop the patterns and then we start to feel a little bad, then we pick up the patterns. But the key here is to consistently continue the work so that you consistently continue to build the capacity to consistently and continue holding on to the blessings. It is okay if you still get shook when you get what you've been working towards. That is okay. But in order to achieve that, it is time to double down. Tap back into the rituals, tap back into the habits, tap back into really calling forth your future, unshakably confident self so that you can reach that next level destination without the burnout, the blame, the guilt, the shame, the fear, the doubt, the criticism, the judgment, the unworthiness, the impatience. It's about preparing reality to meet you halfway. You're getting ready to get ready to get ready. I think Abraham Hicks said that. So I doubled down. I got into meditation and I had already recurated some of the elements involved in that for the next level. I'm like, okay, this feels like first or second nature now. Let's go to the next level. And I'm just in okay. So then it immediately brought me into um the gratitude. Oh gosh. The gratitude that I was feeling last night and the similar vibration of love coming at me that I had experienced with a family member before. So there I was in like guided meditation, gratitude of my community showing up in this type of love that actually can bring fear into someone like my body. And I'm breathing deep. I've got my breath body connection going. My internal dialogue is on. My spirit is present. So I'm just like trying to gradually just let and allow what needs to come up and stay as present as possible as I'm going through this, right? So then I open my eyes and I know you can't see it, but back here I have a lot of different memories from these past 2 years up here having my people's faces and those memories in my let me breathe. Having the good times and the good people where I can see them helps to combat any lies that fear and depression and anxiety might have for me. You're unlovable, you're this, all those old stories from back in the day. That proves, okay? So I open my eye and I start to look at there's one particular picture from Friendsgiving in there. And as I'm passing over each and every face, I'm being reminded on how each and every one of them are showing up for me at this moment in time in different ways, in their own beautiful ways. And, some of the mantras that I have in my morning routine are, I am loved, I am supported, I am provided for, I am protected, I am cherished. What's the other ones? Yeah, let's just start with those. And I could see that in my community's face. Oh man, I lost it. All of a sudden, this like confirmation thing comes washing over my body. Like, see, Angel, you are loved. You are protected. You are provided for. You are cared for. You are worthy. You are all these things. And I'm like, and it was like I could feel, because I do a lot of inner child healing as well. We can get into that whenever, if ever you want to chat about that. But my inner teen, who truly was just like angry at being left and blah, 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 all the things, was like, excuse me, I'm talking too fast. That's when I hiccup. I burst into tears because for the first time in a long time, I could feel in my body, in my mind, in my spirit, in my inner child, and my future self, like, whoa, there's this like holistic experience of just fuck yeah. And I'm blessed enough to have an internal dialogue that goes, yeah, of course you're loved. Not just because of the work you do, but because of who you are. The more space that you make for me, your spirit, your natural soul's essence, the more you will be seen for who you fucking are. You will be seen, heard, and loved. I'm still grappling with the fact that humans feel the need to be understood. I think one of my things is like I'm here to understand myself. I don't think I need anybody else to understand me. Um, which is why I have a wound of over explanation, similar to now. Like I just get caught up in these streams of consciousness and I'm like, oh, I want to be understood, but I need to better understand myself. So that's part of my work right now. The other part of my work, going back to what we were talking about, sorry, bunny trail, is I think my work right now is to learn to stand and face receiving love instead of running from it. As my friends were pitching their support last night, I couldn't even look them in the eye. Whew. It's just the next level. I've been for the last 2 years very intentionally focused on, safety, trust, surrender, like these things, internally as well. And it's helping. And that my external has been mirroring back the beautiful and positive effects of that work. And this is the next level to fully face and accept being seen and being loved. Can you relate? When's the last time you allowed yourself to be loved? When's the last time you allowed yourself to receive? I think it's so interesting that we could go full-fledged for other people, and yet when it comes to allowing ourselves to be loved, it's difficult for me. And we can go into why. It's all, the psychology of it and the why. But I don't know, something about coaching really puts me in like, okay, well, this is who we are now. Where do we want to go? Let's start making movements toward that. Not as a bypassing, but just simply as like, at some point, I got real tired of digging in the past and excavating. And, there's a time and a place for that. It's a yes and, right? And at this moment in time, I'm more focused on acceptance of the present and deciding where I want to go and who I want to call in for the future. So let me just see if there's anything here. I really wanted to share that. It's been a magical day. And like lately, I haven't been doing this YouTube thing because I've been so focused on fulfilling that survival mode need. And then, yeah, I've been answering the call in other areas of life. So I've been a busy gal. Um, okay, let me get quiet for a second. when that delicious sensation of confirmation and affirmation of being loved and supported washed over my body, I had to breathe to really settle into it, right? Instead of hurry up and distract myself so I could stop feeling it because, like, whoa. And when I did, there was this feeling of expansion and belief in all the possibilities and the sky is the limit, like that really like far out kind of vibe, but it was visceral instead of just like this funny thing that we talk about or logical thing that we talk about or over intellectualized. Like I was actually feeling the expansion and the magic and the magnetism that comes with being in alignment, mind, body, spirit, and the magnetism that comes with being vibrating at love, unconditional love, and authenticity. It was quite magical. I'm just hearing like the reason why I'm sharing this is to show that it's possible. There's all these layers of the worries of the world, layers as to who we are, why we are, and ways that we're participating in our suffering. And yet we can, if we take time to practice and align every day, even 60 to 90 seconds, it doesn't have to be 2 to 4 hours. But if we take that time to devote to ourselves, then we can be a partner in our abundance and our wholeness. We don't like to admit that we play a part in our suffering. We like to blame others, shame ourselves, fear the unknown, doubt source, doubt the evidence of how we have overcome. The list goes on. But today I felt in full partnership of my bliss. Is that too woo? Full force bliss. And when I think about expansion and growth, it just brings up nature, the way that everything has its own cycles and its growth, and it doesn't wait for permission to, to bloom, to blossom, to shed, to hibernate, to bloom, to blossom, to shed, to hibernate, bloom, to blossom, to shed, to hibernate. Okay, I'm going to get off this. I love you. Thank you. Be well.